All righty, you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why are the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. Haven't won a Super Bowl since after the 91 season. Haven't been to the Super Bowl since after the 91 season. You haven't been to the Super Bowl in over 30 seasons. The Boston Braves, Washington Redskins, Washington football team, Washington Commanders, wherever you call yourself this year, you suck. Man, that's a bad football. Makes me feel good about my Giants. They stink. Oh, it's a bad football team. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. For anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free to fire away. Throw it in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free. Fire away about... Instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free. And fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first is called the Saquon, unfortunately. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you're subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you're subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe you give this video a thumbs up or share it. That'd be freaking awesome. And then finally, also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. Top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. I'm one of them guys I can't stand change when I'm, get off my lawn! Kind of old-time farts, right? Just like everything's just the way it is. Don't be opening up a can of worms. No, just keep things just the way they are. Nice and simple, right? The link underneath, it's a Twitter link. It'll always be Twitter to me. It's always been Twitter, right? It's Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants you to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. And then the link just on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants to Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Very original, I know, basically, because I'm a moron. I can't figure... Couldn't think of a different name to call it. So basically, I called it the same name as my YouTube channel, right? It's the New York Giants, the Gridiron. My Facebook group, we have over 8,200 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And now I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group. Every day. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron. It's my face. Oh, wait. Oh, I just refreshed it. We have over 8,300 members in the group. Well, we're growing like wildfire. Hey. So basically, it's New York Giants Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All that stuff said and done that away with. Another day, no doubt. We got all kinds of stuff going on here with the New York Football Giants. Lots of stuff that, man, I got all kinds of stuff going over here, but they have, a couple of things are and one I can see where these reports are kind of coming from. it's just, yeah, to be fair and all, when the Giants drafted Wan'Dale Robinson in the second round a couple of years ago, I'm like, are you serious, Clark? Right? So I want to give Andrew Phillips a little bit of time here. I don't want to be jumping the gun or nothing like that or anything like that. All right. So, I in Shane we trust, and Dable I trust, and all that stuff. So obviously they know 3 trillion times more stuff than I do. So give them a little bit of time here. I mean, really, to me, that was the biggest head scratcher of this whole draft. I mean, Malik Neighbors, if I had 13 thumbs, I'd give them all thumbs up. I mean, right. Second round, I said I was kind of hoping that we could either go in defense, right, in which we wound up doing. I was kind of hoping maybe defensive tackle until a run of defensive tackles started at the beginning of the second round. We really didn't. Shane, he wants the bites at the apple. We only had 6. Well, we had 8 picks. And I'm saying, if you sit back here, roll up a fatty, spark that mofo up, right? And you sit back and you just, and you relax and you think about it. We had 8 picks, right? One of them is for Isaiah Simmons. The other one is for Brian Burns. So you throw those 2 guys in there, right? You throw those 2 freaks of nature in there. We did pretty damn good with our 8 picks that we had. I mean, I'll tell you what. We got Isaiah Simmons. I look. I wipe my eyes and I got some Windex. I squirted on my computer screen. I tried to get it before anything dripped into the keyboard to short circuit it or not like that. Look, it said I think like $2 million. Hold on. Let me look again here. Yeah, here we go. Is this it? Okay, here we go. Let me make sure again. I want to look. Isaiah Simmons, $2 million. I can't freaking believe we got Isaiah Simmons for two freaking $2 million. Isaiah Simmons. So we had 8 picks. Boom. Right. I said one of them we traded for Brian Burns. And Isaiah said, very interesting to see because obviously we have a new coordinator coming in. And the coordinator was here. They brought Isaiah Simmons back. Okay. Very happy. Very, very thankful. I mean, the guy's 26 years old. Dude's a freakish athlete. $2 freaking million we got the guy for, and a 7th round pick. Are you kidding me? Wow. I'm really anxious to see, where they intend to deploy, use them a lot. On the depth chart, they have Isaiah Simmons as like an interior inside linebacker, but he can be put almost anywhere, right? Hopefully use him off the edge. I'm fine with that. I mean, I'll tell you what, if you think if you want to get like a NASCAR kind of pack, I mean, could you imagine? Now it would be a little tough. Well, I mean, I guess you could send the 5. That wouldn't be bad. Right? Right. What you do is if you want like a NASCAR package, right? Right. Check it out, right? What you do is you have you got Sexy Dexy in there, right? But then you bring Kayvon in, right? Right. So now you got 2 guys right there. Then you got Azeez Ojulari on one end. Let's hope the guy can stay healthy this season. I mean, I'm not sure, I don't know what was pulling him down last season. Was it still his health? Because he didn't look, he didn't have the production. But anyway, put him on the edge, get Brian Burns on the edge. and then, whatever. Have Bobby Okereke and Isaiah Simmons, right? As the interior. So now you got, I got a 4-2, and you got, whatever, however you want to do it. 3 safeties, 2 cornerbacks, 3 cornerbacks, 2 safeties, whatever you want. 2 cornerbacks, 2 safeties, and a partridge and a pear tree, whatever you want to have back there. But right, could you imagine that? Azeez Ojulari, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Sexy Dexy. And then you got Isaiah Simmons in the box. Quarterback snaps the ball. You got the front 4 going at him, and then you have Isaiah Simmons blitzing in there too. That'd be pretty decent. But I said, if you think back, that's not bad. We did pretty damn good. I said, with the second round pick, I was talking about, it had the run on defensive tackles in the beginning. He sprinkled in a couple wide receivers in there, just right. But then, after that wave was over with, right? So then I'm like, oh, maybe we can still get a cornerback. Nope, no such thing. I think the Eagles jumped up, and I think at pick 40, that's when the run on cornerback. So I was like, but we got safety, Newman, right? I think he's going to. I'm not saying he's going to be. I'm not. He's not Ronnie Lott, right? But I think we really did very well with him. I think he's going to be, a heart and soul of this. Not of the team, but his heart and soul is in there. I think I could certainly see him somewhere along the line, maybe being some type of a captain. So, I really think means a lot to him. I think to him, playing football, okay, being on a team and all that, it means a lot to him. Unlike Xavier McKinney, the end of last season, the only thing he was concerned about was just show me the money. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty happy we got him. And I said, we're going to go with Theo Johnson in the 4th round. Right. I'm really excited about seeing Tracy. I'm not saying he's Barry Sanders or Jim Brown or, I'm not saying that, but, I'm, a guy who was a wide receiver and he's, now they put him in as a running back. So you could put him out wide. Crap. We got a lot of receivers, got a lot of guys who can catch the ball. Right. I'm very anxious to see him too, Tracy. Very, very, very anxious to see him. And then, the Muasau. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's only 6 foot tall, not real heavy or anything like that. Be interesting to see him. I'm sure he's going to get used on special teams. Tackling machine. 440. I don't think he missed a game. 440 career tackles in college. Just a tackle machine. Very, very excited about him. So the only one I was a little, it's kind of scratching my head about is Phillips. And a couple articles here too that have the 3 of the Giants, right, were in the top 100, right, and the Giants made a different pick other than Phillips. It is what it is, right? And I'm pulling for him. I'm certainly not saying, well, Phillips, yeah. I'm certainly not saying, man, I hope you stink. No, I hope he's the best cornerback in the world. But right, we'll have to wait and see. But according to a couple of reports here, the Giants at least had 3 of the top 100 picks. Our 3rd round pick, who we picked at number 70, didn't make the grade. So. But we got here, let's see, is this Giants Wire? All right. 3 Giants ranked among the top 100 picks in 2024 NFL draft. And I said, once again, 3. All right. And to me, we got the best edge rusher in this class. Our 2nd round pick, Brian Burns. Why? Because we know it costs some money, but what he can do in the pros, right? Smart, tough, and dependable. That's a big one, right? We know what he can do in the pros. We know what kind of athlete, we know what kind of production we're going to get from the guy, right? So we got the best edge rusher in this class. And I'll tell you what, you can, our 7th round pick for Isaiah Simmons, I'll take him. So, so according to me, you want these reports and you add in those other 2 guys, we got 5 guys in the top 100. Isaiah Simmons, I'm not saying he's the, but he's a heck of an athlete. If we can find a role for him, right? Get some production from him. He's a good athlete, boy. Let's see. That's 3 players selected by the Giants in the last week's NFL draft, or half of the team's 2024 draft class, if you want to look at it, right, are among ESPN's top 100 picks, considered steals and fits. So, of course, you got, LSU, Malik Neighbors, selected 6th overall. Let's see here. Matt Miller from ESPN, I guess it is. He was the 4th best pick in this year's draft. Okay. Some will knock the Giants for not drafting a quarterback or offensive tackle at number 6. Well, we might have an offensive. What if Evan Neal works out? What if we drafted Evan Neal number 7? What if Priscillo can work some magic on him and get him to be a? So then what are we going to do? We're going to draft Andrew Thomason number 4, Joe Alt number 6, and Evan Neal number 7. Maybe we'll bring Eric Flowers back. We drafted him number 9 in 2015. We'll bring him back too. It said the Giants selected. This is, I guess, according to Matt Miller. This is Matt Miller talking. But it said the Giants selected my number 4 overall player, or Neighbors, who should be the team's wide receiver 1 from the jump. Oh, yeah. With the explosive receiver on board, the team can fully evaluate Daniel Jones and Drew Lock. Yep, absolutely. Then his Giants' 2nd round pick, safety Tyler Nubin of Minnesota, was ranked 56th overall on his board. When starter Xavier McKinney left in free agency for the Packers, it was obvious the Giants would target a safety at some point in the draft. Nubin has all-American ball skills, 13 career picks, and proved during the college career that he can read the eyes of a quarterback and then use his range to attack the ball. He's a classic center fielder, free safety, who should top the team's depth chart in week 1. So, right. Then the 4th round pick. Okay, noticing they're jumping over Andrew Phillips, the Giants' 3rd round pick. The 4th round pick, Penn State tight end Theo Johnson, was ranked 69th overall by Miller. So the Giants basically got, the 4th, the 56th, and the 69th best players, according to Miller, right? It was very wise of the Giants to grab more options at tight end, and Johnson had flashes on tape that throughout his career that would make you think he's a future NFL starter. If the Giants can coach him up, he could be a steal. He caught 7 touchdowns last season. Now we're gonna go over a little bit more him in a little bit. The team's other 3 picks, cornerback Drew Phillips of Kentucky, Purdue Tyrone Tracy, right, and Darius Muasau, I believe that's how you pronounce it, did not make the list. They got another report here. This one's from ESPN. Same thing, Matt Miller has three of the Giants. So, as I said, certainly can't knock them. As I said, the Giants, did some really, really good things in the draft. Very, very happy. But I think one of the things that the Giants did, was, Shane wanted, instead of taking our 3rd round pick, throwing a 5th round pick in there and trying to move up a bunch of spots or something like that to grab somebody else. Well, it seemed like he wanted more bites at the apple. Now it is kind of, you need to build a team. You need, certainly need some time, right? You need to bring in some of your own players. And I think that's what Shane, what was doing here. Now, as I said, let's not forget. I said we had the 2nd round pick. We traded that for a good player. Our 7th round pick, we brought that Azeez Ojulari, right? So we're, some of what you see is like what the Eagles are doing or have been doing or whatever. Like with the Cowboys and all, even like with the Ravens, is that some of it, is when you have your team established, you can do a few things, right? When you only have a couple holes, say, right? Say you got 4 holes. You got a really good team, right? You got 4 holes. Well, you can fill 1 hole with your 1st round pick. You can fill a hole with your 2nd round pick. Then heck, you can take your 3rd round pick, couple that up with your 6th round pick, and jump up maybe into the 2nd round or something like that and grab another, right? Then you can also, if you get your 4th round pick, you can take your 4th round pick and your 5th round pick and and move up and grab. So you could fill your 4 holes with 7 picks. You can do all kinds of trading, right? And then you just get 4, for 4 picks, and now your team is, it's never filled. It's always fluid and all that. But if you had 4 holes, right? Say you need a cornerback, inside linebacker, a guard, and a wide receiver, whatever, right? Yeah, you can with 7. You can do stuff like that. Something else is when you have a good team, right? And you lose some guys in free agency. Stuff like that happen when you have that's one of the problems of having a really good team. Sometimes you just can't keep everybody, right? I mean, the Eagles and Cowboys, sometimes they find this stuff out. You can't keep it. You got such good, your quarterback wants $85 trillion a year. Your star wide receiver wants $150 trillion a year. You can't keep everybody. But the nice thing about, losing your free agents, if you want to call it that, is that you get comp picks. So what does that do? Gives you more ammunition in the draft, right? To fill those holes. If you have a good team, your team is pretty much kind of like filled out, right? You can, if people calling you on the phone, right? Say it's your 3rd round. Say your team is kind of, we're not too bad. We might only have a hole or 2 here or there. We're not too bad, right? So when the 3rd round rolls around, right? The Seahawks call you. Hey, you want to move out of that spot? Sure. What you got? Right? What you can do, right, is you can say, all right, well, okay, you'll move up to our spot, and you'll get our 3rd. So we'll move back, and we'll get your 3rd, right? So, but what else are you going to throw in there? No, we'll give you our 5th. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll take your 5th for next season. How's that sound? Because right now we're pretty good. We really don't need, you know what I mean? So what they can do is, people calling them, they can make all these kind of trades and stuff, but they can, right? They can move back. If somebody wants to move up for their 4th round pick, all right, you can have our 4th round pick. We'll have your 4th round pick. What else are you going to throw in there? Since we're moving back 12 spots, what are you throwing in there? You're going to throw in a 5th? Okay, I'll tell you what. Make it your 5th round pick for next season, right? Oh, Vinny G-Man's in the house. What's up, brother? Kind of like what the Eagles did, right? And they maybe trading back, right? The team's kind of, not too bad, right? Or they did some trading up, but they also maybe did some trading back. They can collect draft picks for next season, right? Especially if, you can also look at it too, like if you're not losing a lot of free agents, right? Because the Eagles signed a bunch of free agents, right? They signed a bunch of them. They lost some, but they signed a bunch. I mean, they spent, it's unbelievable. The Eagles spent between free agency, extending guys' contracts, and I believe this draft, they spent almost $500 million. I mean, Anyway, they're not going to get any comp picks next season. The next smart thing to do, right, is if people calling on the phone, right, and your team, your roster's not too bad. All right, we'll move back 10 spots in the fourth round. We'll take your fourth round pick, and you're going to give us your next year's fifth or whatever. Okay, we want picks next year. We're good this year. We're good. We'll start accumulating some picks for next season. Then what they do there, instead of having just 7 picks, they might have 10 picks for next season. Well, then next season rolls around. Say, once again, they got 4 spots that they got to fill. They got 10 picks. Well, you can fill a spot with your first round pick, fill a spot with your second round pick. Then your third round pick, you can take your third round pick and your 2 fifth round picks, move up back into the second round and grab another. You know what I mean? So we were playing the AFC North, the upcoming schedule. We're in big trouble. Oh, yeah, they're good. I mean, every team. I mean, it's not always a carbon copy. It's not like the Cleveland Browns had a great defense. The Cleveland Browns are going to be great. You seem to think that, but stuff always changes up. But pretty much regardless, I mean, unless one of those teams really gets decimated, you can see the Bengals being good, right? I mean, the Browns were, their defense was incredible last season. As long as Mike Tomlin's standing on the sideline with Pittsburgh, I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but the guy doesn't have losing records, right? The Ravens, what I mean? So, I mean, that's we got some tough games right there. That's for damn sure. It was a lot better when we were playing the AFC South than the AFC North, but it is what it is. You got to play the games that are given to you. But it's not so much. But all the other teams, the Eagles are playing them too. The Cowboys are playing them, and the Commanders got to play them too. So, but I mean, the thing is, like with the Giants, the Giants have all the holes to fill. Is that it's kind of like Shane wants as many bites at the apple as he possibly can. We didn't have any comp picks this season, right? We might be on board for maybe a comp pick or so next season, right? I think I thought I saw like maybe a couple of weeks ago the Giants might get like a 4th round. I forgot what it was. It was a 4th round comp pick, might possibly for next season. So that's a plus. But the thing is, when you're trying to build a roster, it's really, really tough. I mean, you can always couple up a couple picks and try to move up and snag somebody really good, but now you might fill one spot, but then you might have a couple other spots that you can't fill because you just gave up a couple of your draft picks to move up one round. So it's very, very tough. It's very, 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 very tough. I mean, as a building a roster, of course, with the salary cap and all that stuff, you can't keep everybody. So, so as you're trying to build a roster, guys are leaving, so it's tough. Stuff takes time. And I keep saying, it's like, let's see what it looks like, the roster looks like after next season's draft, because we'll have another free agency. Now, you don't know what's going on with Daniel Jones. Don't know, right? But if we let Daniel Jones go, we're going to save about $20 million in cap space. If Darren Waller were to retire, we're going to save some money this season, right? So we'll have some more cap space. So we might be able to go out next season, right? And the free agency and bring in another. And I don't know if we're going to be able to spend $30 million on one guy like we did with Burns, but we might be able to bring in 1 or 2 nice guys. I mean, if stuff doesn't work out with our cornerbacks, we might be able to go into free agency and might be able to bring in a cornerback for $15 million or $20 million. If there's one out there that's good, right? We might be able to bring in a couple guys, but then you go to the draft next season, and we fill in another couple holes that we have with the 1st round, 2nd round pick, and whatever. So let's see what we got after next season. We just have too many holes to fill. That is that. To try to think we filled them all in this draft is just crazy. So let's see what we got after next season. All right. What we got here? Oh, Darius Slayton. he is confident the contract situation will be resolved soon. Well, I mean, I hate to see the guy go, and he does have a good point. This is what NFL.com. Giants receiver Darius Slayton has skipped the start of voluntary workouts this offseason in search of a new contract while being honored for his work in New York community during a Wednesday night event. Big Blue's most productive receiver last season said that he hopes the situation is resolved soon. Right now, my agent, Michael Parrott, and Joe Shane, they're in negotiations. They're talking, Slayton said. Hopefully we'll come to a resolution soon. Slayton inked a 2-year, $12.2 million contract before the 2023 season. He's due $6.2 million this season, some of which has already been paid in the form of a roster bonus. It's after pacing the Giants with 50 catches for 774 yards last season, his fourth year in the past 5 leading the club. He wants a pay bump. I can understand where he's coming from. When it's all said and done, the 27-year-old would like to remain a Giant. General Manager Joe Shane has insisted Giants drafting Malik Neighbors with number 6 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft didn't affect Slayton's situation. Well, we'll have to say. The rookie's presence does, however, give New York a potent go-to playmaker that it has lacked. The thing is, it's like the Giants' wide receiver room is currently pretty deep. You got Neighbors, Hyatt, and Wan'Dale Robinson, Isaiah Hodgins. They put Isaiah McKenzie in here. And then Slayton. Slayton's speed is a needed element, but the addition of Neighbors, along with the other recent early round selections, could curtail the veterans' production in 2024. Now, the thing is, it's like, what's Slayton, it's like, oh, what do we got? They're looking to move on from him. He's going to get – well, that's the thing. It's kind of like, if they I don't know, just say, bump him up. I mean, it just almost be kind of crazy. I mean, to do 2 things. One is just, okay, we'll give you $10 million this season. We'll rip up this guy, whatever. And now you're getting $10 million this season. You happy? And if he says, yeah, I'm happy. But I mean, they're going to be, they're going to have, probably, since they drafted him, want to maybe have Hyatt out there, right? You got Neighbors, right? You got Wan'Dale Robinson, 3 guys they drafted, right? And then if they got 5 offensive linemen, 3 wide receivers, a quarterback, a running back, and, you might need a tight end. That's 11 guys. Where's Slayton at? He might be on the sideline. So you're going to be paying this guy. I'm just throwing out there. I have no idea. $10 million. Now you just gave him a pay raise, and you're going to have the guy on the sideline a lot of the times. Yeah. Okay. Or they're going to give him. Okay, we'll give you a contract extension. We'll give you, whatever. Same thing. $10-12 million a year for 2 years. But if he's going to be on the sideline, that doesn't make much sense. And I said, I can understand where he's coming from, but it's, they're going to give a guy a pay bump and have him sit on the sideline. I don't know about that. Let's see what we got here. You look here. We got some wide receivers. I'm not saying we're top 5. Certainly not saying that, but we got Hyatt, Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, McKenzie. I think he's going to be more of a return specialist, hopefully for the Giants. We got Darius Slayton, brought back Isaiah Hodgins. We got Miles Boykin, Dennis Houston. Got Gunnar Olszewski, right? The punt returner. Going to want him, right? Ayer Asante. Bryce Ford Wheaton, don't forget about him, right? Chase Cota and John Giles. So now with Ford Wheaton, he got injured last season. It can be interesting to see how he looks coming off of his injury. But regardless of the fact, if you're looking at the top 3, they drafted Hyatt. They have visions of that guy, right? Playing. They drafted Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, they drafted a guy in the first round, second round, and the third round, right? Got Neighbors in the first, Robinson in the second, Hyatt in the third. First, second, and the third, right? They drafted 2 tight ends, too. So, I mean, I don't know. Let me see. And I said Slayton is, what we got here? Let's see. His cap hit is 8.15 this season, but he's got, what do we got? His base salary is $2.5 million. He had a roster bonus of $2.6 million and a signing bonus of $1.75 million. You know. But I mean, as I said, it's like what you were kind of saying. I can really see them. You know, Slade is going to be on number 4. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, they're going to give this guy a pay bump. And once again, I can understand where he's coming from. He's 4 out of his 5 years. He's had over 700 yards receiving, but he's also led the team in receiving 4 out of 5 years. It's a 5th round pick. I mean, he's making, you know, he's making $6 million a year on an average. You got other guys out there. I mean, he's averaging like 700 yards a season on a crappy team, crappy offense, 700 yards, and they're giving him $6 million. Meanwhile, DeVonta Smith, the other guys are making 25, and they're making 4 times the amount. Well, they're not getting 400. They're not making 2,800 yards in a season. Last time I checked, I don't think they're doing that. You know, I mean, DeVonta Smith, you know, well, let's see. I can't stand the Eagles. I me to try to actually DeVonta Smith. See, so let's see. I mean, he wants 20, or he got 25 million. What did he get last year? 1,000 yards. He had 300 more yards than Darius Slayton on a really good offense. Great offensive line. 2 number 1 wide receivers, right? Once again, it's the theory of relativity. You got good offensive line, right? Pass protection, right? You can run the ball. Quarterback can get in the pocket, right? You got 2 wide receivers, open stuff up and all. So DeVonta Smith, he's got 1,066 yards and he gets 25 million. Slayton's gets 770 yards, but like 300 yards more. And he's making 4 times the amount of money. You know, so I can understand where he's coming from, but also he needs to, you know, be interested to see if they try to trade him or try to, you know, see if they can, you know, work something out, or where it's like, well, Darius, it's like this. We're not giving you a pay raise, but is there a team you'd like to go to? So if we were to trade you, that would make you happy, right? And we're not sending you to the Eagles. Is there a team in the NFC or a team out there, not in the NFC East, that you'd like to go to? We're not sending you to the Cowboys. We're not sending you to the Eagles. We're not sending you to the Commanders. Any other team you might want to go to. So it just is your point. I mean, if he's number 4, you're going to give the guy a pay bump and he's going to be on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid. It's like, because it's like every dollar counts. It's like, you know, you're going to bring somebody, you know, all right, we'll bring this guy in. Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. He wants this much money. But, you know, you got to go to the defensive coordinator if you're going to bring in like a defensive player. So if we bring this guy in, what's the percentage of snaps he's going to have, right? Oh, yeah, he's only going to be at 40% of the snaps, and he wants $15 million a year. Yeah, no, can't have that. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out, you know, how many snaps is he going to play, right? How much does he want to get paid? You know, does it equal out? You know, but so I don't blame Darius, right? But I'd be rather shocked if they gave him a big pay bump, especially if they like extended his contract or something. I mean, I would just, I don't know about that. All right, then we got now this down here is, you know, this is 2 things the Giants have going against them. 2 every year. When your offensive line, all we have to go by is the only evidence we have is what was put on tape last season, right? When your offensive line looks like Swiss cheese, and it has for the past since Jesus Christ was walking the earth, okay, and this is the kiss of death, according to all those guys out there. when we got Daniel Jones calling signals, that's a kiss to death. Now, Bucky just straight up biatch slapping those Giants because he's saying we're the worst in the East. Now that's a little biatch and slapping right there. That's, we've had the Commanders' number for quite some time, and so all of a sudden the Commanders are better than the Giants. Yeah, all right, okay, but I mean, as far as not getting much love, shall we say, in the NFC East. And as I said, I can see not being ranked as good as the Eagles or the Cowboys, but not being as good as the Commanders. But the problem the Giants have, as long as we got that bad offensive line and Daniel Jones, we ain't getting no love. And we're not getting no love from Bucky Brooks here. Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah ranked Giants as the worst team in the NFC East. Man. Wow. NFL Network analysts Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah recently released their post-draft power rankings for the NFC East on path to the draft. And the New York Giants were at the bottom of the list. Wow. The Giants made several significant additions this offseason. They have signed free agent offensive lineman John Runyon Jr., Jermaine Luminor. They also traded for Brian Burns. Got Malik Neighbors, Tyler Nubin. Despite the moves, the Eagles and the Commanders are in a better position heading into 2024, according to the pair of analysts. We got Bucky Brooks here. NFC East post-draft power rankings. It's all about the depth and how you're going to utilize the talent, and the Eagles are well-positioned, Brooks said. They have veterans in place, young guys ready to assume prominent roles, and they just continue to tie it all together to make it work. The Commanders are interesting, Brooks added. This is a team that has added veteran presence, a bunch of what I call hard-headed guys to go with a young nucleus of guys they're going to bring in that also have core ingredients. When you look at Jaden Daniels and Newton, experienced players are winning pedigree to do it the right way when it comes to how they go about their business. I think this is a more mature and talented team, which is why they were content. Daniel Jeremiah. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, I thought their biggest issue last year, if you watch them play, was their secondary. So instead of just spreading all of your resources around, I love the fact that they attacked that secondary with those two corners. You go out and you get Mitchell, come back, trade up, and get the other Cooper DeJean, right? So they addressed the biggest need. Will Shipley come in there as a nice compliment to Saquon Barkley? I know Buck was a big fan of Will Shipley's game, so they've done a nice job. I like what Washington did. You have a rookie quarterback that they'll ease into, and I think they will be a much better team in the second half of the season than they are in the first. So, no love for the Giants. Once again, the Giants don't get no love. I can believe how much the media hates us, especially Daniel Jones. Oh, yeah. As long as we got Daniel Jones. We were hearing the same thing last year. I mean, I don't remember that we were the worst in the East or anything like last year. But even, we were at the nice season, right? And we went to the playoffs, won a playoff game, and we still are, no love. No love at all. Freaking Eagles, two top corners fall right into the lap. Yeah, I know. Well, but see, I also want another thing too. It's like I'm not saying the guys are bad. Don't get me wrong, and don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say I sat there and I watched 932,000 hours of tape of each guy. Every step they took, I diagnosed it. I broke it down. I wrote notes. No. But, another thing, too. It's like, the first guy was drafted in the 20s. The other guy was in the second round. I mean, it's like, okay, they're good. Blah, 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 blah. The guys with Deion Sanders, they wouldn't be there. Okay? Yeah. It's like, I hate the Eagles. Can't stand them, right? But it's like, they jumped. It's like, I'm again. That's the greatest pick of all McGee of all time. You see the way they jumped up, ground my kid. Oh my God. Did you see what they? I mean, okay, he's a cornerback. I mean, great. If he was that phenomenal, he wouldn't be there in the 20s. I mean, I'm saying he's not horrible. But I mean, I don't know. It's just some of the way they're reacting. And the guy in the second round, too, is like, oh my God. This guy is probably better than Deion Sanders. I mean, oh my God. And they got him. I mean, he wouldn't be there. I mean, if he was that phenomenal, 25 teams wouldn't be passing on him in the first round. So let's slow your roller a little bit. All right. I mean, I just absolutely can't stand you. Absolutely can't stand him. That's why when they lost, I was so happy. Absolutely so. Because I'm in Eagle country down here. I'm about like, there's the Walt Whitman Bridge, which takes you right into South Philly, which is right where the Eagles, the Phillies, and the Sixers and the Flyers, they play. Their stadiums are absolutely beautiful. I love their stadiums. The link, beautiful. Very, very. I love the field. Very, very beautiful. Very. Where the Phillies play that park, beautiful. Absolutely. Grass. I love the out. It's nice. They did a phenomenal job with that. Absolutely love it. Where the Flyers and Sixers play, very nice. All three stadiums are like one location right there. You can almost park one spot and just walk in it. You know what I mean? They did a phenomenal job. But I said, I'm about 20 minutes, depends on how fast you drive, 20, 25 minutes to the Walt Whitman Bridge, which is right at South Philly, right where, you take there and you're right in South Philly, right? You're right there where the stadiums are at. You know what I mean? So I'm close. I'm in Eagle territory. And I've been here since 1977. And boy, I just can't stand, you know, because my first 13 years I was alive, I was in New York. That's where I, became there you go, Met fan, right? So we moved here in 77. And ever since 77, it just. So anytime the Eagles start losing or the Flyers or the Sixers or the Phillies, man, I love it. Absolutely love it. I love suffering. I mean, when the Knicks beat the Sixers, oh, man. Oh, loved it. Absolutely loved it. All right. Let's see. What do we got here after this? Oh, Jake Kubas. Undrafted free agent. I've seen this. Now, this is kind of like a Bryce Ford Wheaton kind of thing here, right? Because you get an undrafted free agent coming in, right? And they paid him, right? So they gave him a little bit of a signing bonus. He's a nice size for like a guard. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. Maybe Priscilla can work some magic with him. But let's see what we can do here. So the Giants are bringing in some guys. Yeah, they are bringing in some offensive linemen. But Giants undrafted free agent, get to know guard Jake Kubas from North Dakota State University. He was one of the undrafted free agents signed by the Giants. He was the 3-year starter at right guard. Kubas was named first team Stats Perform FCS All-American. Whatever that is, I don't know. He's 6'3" and 7/8". So let's call him 6'4", 308 pounds. A Giants offensive line coach reportedly ran the offensive line workouts at the school's pro day. Kubas did not earn an invitation to the NFL scouting combine. I think anytime you can get in front of an assistant O-line coach, an area scout, or whatever it may be, and work out in front of them, I think it's valuable, especially being in an FCS school. Kubas said at his pro day. So it's big anytime I can get in front of somebody in an NFL organization to work out. Lance Zierlein of NFL.com offered this scouting report of Kubas. Rock steady, full-time starter over the last 3 seasons. Kubas is smaller than NFL teams might like from a frame perspective, and it would be beneficial if he learned how to snap. He's technically sound with inside hands and good lower body bend. He's lightning quick up to the second level as a pulling guard. Kubas could struggle to handle the step up in size and power across from him as both a run and pass blocker. His sudden feet and athleticism are both impressive in protection, but he's too easily conned out of his spot by moving pieces and appears to lack instincts at that regard. He could compete for a spot with a zone-heavy team. The Giants reportedly gave Kubas a $270,000 guaranteed, like a price for Wheaton, the largest amount of any undrafted free agent they have signed. Dan Dugan, who reported the amount. A practice squad salary for the full season is $225K. The Giants guaranteed Kubas $240,000 plus salary, plus a $30,000 signing bonus. Strong indication that they expect him to at least land on their practice squad. The only problem is if somebody landed on the practice squad, he can get plucked up and put on somebody else's 53. So, so I have to keep an eye out for. But Kubas, let's see what we got here. Last season, according to PFF, that's all I'm going by. He graded out a 76.7 overall. His run blocking grade was a 79.1. His pass block was a 79.5. Now, to be, let's see here. 2022, 75.9 overall grade. 2021 was a 71.1. He's played a lot. He's played like 25, about 2,500 snaps in the last 3 seasons. So he has a lot of experience. Now, he played right guard last season. Let's see what we got there. Right guard in 2022. And he played right guard in 2021. He did play 1 game at left guard, though. Okay, but predominantly a right guard. But what they were mentioning in that article, it may not be a bad idea if he learns how to snap. Right? But he's 6'4". That's a nice size, 308 pounds. I mean, maybe add a little bit of weight, but I mean, my goodness, you can easily put on 10 pounds. Maybe not solid muscle, but you can put on a lot of muscle and at least 10 pounds or so in the first year. So, I mean, if he would be on the Giants, I'm just saying, for 2 years, I'm sure he could easily get up to 325, if not 330, with some proper eating and some lifting weights. I'm sure he can get up all over the 320 mark. Now, the thing is that, I mean, once again, to be fair, all right, he didn't grade out at a 90 or 95 or nothing like that, so, and, teams he played, this is 2021. These are the teams he played against. Albany, Valparaiso, Towson, North Dakota, Northern Iowa, Illinois State, Montana State, Indiana State, South Dakota State, Youngstown State, South Dakota, South Illinois, East Tennessee State, James Madison, and Montana State. So he's not going up against, Alabama. All right, he's not grading out at an 80 going up against Georgia. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. I mean, he did a nice job. But hey, they just don't bring guys in, right? I mean, they do their scouting and all that stuff, and hey, Carmen Basil, what do you think about this guy? Right? I mean, Carmen Basil, I'm not saying Carmen Basil says no way that they wouldn't be bringing him in, but I'm sure Carmen Basil might have a little something to say about it. Hopefully can work him up a little bit. Who knows? Right? I'll have to wait and see. But so the Giants, they brought quite a few undrafted free agents in as well. So, but they did guarantee this guy some money. So when they bring somebody in and they sign him to some money, at least they're a little serious about him. So we'll have to wait and see. That's once again, I hope nothing but the best. But the one problem is that we got a lot. Hold on. I got 37,000 tabs open up, and I'm a freaking moron, so it might take me a second or two here. So I said, okay, here we go, to find the tab. All right. Let's see here now. On the Giants, let's see, we have, according to here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Jake Kubas is the Giants' third string left guard. He's behind Aaron Stinney. I don't know if he's going to be the guy in that. See, because right here, according to this here, this is what on the New York Giants depth chart. They got Illuminor as the starting right tackle, and they got Evan Neal as the backup. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to have Illuminor and Neal. You know, I think we got a Neal and Illuminor. I can both see those guys playing at the same time. But right here, they got Kubas as the third string left guard. But according to this here, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We got 16 guys because we brought in Marcellus Johnson. Right? We brought him, an undrafted free agent, in as well, too. So we got like 16 guys. We got a lot of guys. We got a lot of offensive linemen. A lot. Now, one thing is some of the stuff you don't know. Can Neal stay healthy? Can Neal be the right tackle? We don't know. What can Brassillo do with the guy? Because we got a lot of guys. A lot of guys. What can he do? After the season's over with, right, and all the smoke dissipates and the dust settles and all that stuff, then we can sit back and we can look, look and go, we have John Michael Schmitz, we got our center, Andrew Thomas, he's the man, right? He's going to be our left tackle until he retires. At least one thing we know is the O-line can't. Good God, I hope not. Boy, I'll tell you what. If it is worse, just take your remote and just see you next year. But I mean, after the season's over, let's see. Who makes the team? Who doesn't make the team? We drafted McKeith and Zudu. Are they both going to make them? I have to wait and see. Right? I mean, where does Illuminor want to play? Do we start him at guard? And then, they've got Neal at tackle, Illuminor at guard. Do they have to flip-flop halfway through the season because Evan Neal, there's no hope for him? He has to be a guard. So after everything's all over with, let's see. Because, hey, might be we bring Neal in at guard, and now he's in the phone booth, where what is he, like 13 feet tall, 340 or 50? I mean, dude is huge. It's like a sequoia tree, right? But, in space, might be a bit too much for him. But in a phone booth, right? I mean, if he's only got to worry about, he doesn't have to worry about, an edge rusher, runner, what I mean? He only has so much space for the most part he has to worry about. That might be him, right? So they move him in, right? Now we might have our guard, right? We got our center, we got our other tackle, right? Is Runyon okay at the left guard? Illuminor, did he do good? So we'll have to wait and see. But the fact that they just signed, they gave him some money, Kubas. That's at least they have some hope for him. So I'll have to wait and see. But we got a lot of offensive linemen, But the one nice thing is that what Brassillo did last season with the Raiders, I'm not saying they were a top 5 or 10 unit or nothing like that, but with what he had to work with, they were pretty functionable. They did a decent job. And I could be wrong, but I think there was a first rounder on their line. I think they had a third rounder, a fifth rounder. I think there might have been 2 undrafted free agents, and they were a decent unit. So if he can do that with a first, a third, a fifth, and 2 undrafted free agents, Evan Neal's a first rounder, Michael Schmidt's a second rounder, Zudu's the third rounder, Andrew Thomas is a first rounder. So we got some high draft picks. We spent a lot of capital on our offensive line. So we'll have to wait and see. And then finally, we got Theo Johnson. Did the Giants just make Darren Waller expendable? Oh, really into this thing, right? Now, I'll tell you what. Now, you can't always get. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be Tony Gonzalez. I'm not saying he's going to be better, as good, or anywhere near Kelsey or the Skittle Man, right? Or not like that. But you can't always go, right, by their college stats. Point in hand, right? All right, let me find this here. Here we go. Okay. George Kittle. Okay, his stats in college. And you go to Iowa, all right? You know, it was kind of like with Bellinger, right? With Bellinger at San Diego State, right? You don't go to San Diego State and expect to lead the country in receiving yards, right? Because as far as I know, they like to run the ball. So you go to certain schools, you know, and like you go to Michigan, and you know you're tight end in Michigan. You're not putting up 2,000 receiving yards in a season. I got news for you. You know what I mean? They run the ball. You know, so sometimes it's where you go, and you can only do what you can do, right? It was like just something a little off the, you know. The Steelers in 1974, when they went to the Super Bowl, right? That year they drafted, that was probably maybe the best draft class of all time. But anyway, they drafted Lynn Swann. Okay, so in the 1974 Super Bowl, Lynn Swann was a rookie, right? The Steelers beat the Vikings 16-6, right? The Steelers won their first Super Bowl ever. Well, you know, there was an interview later on, you know, because Lynn Swann was on the field. He was on that field. Hall of Fame wide receiver. The guy who's making the following season against the Cowboys. He made like two of the most unbelievable, freaking, absolutely amazing freaking catches in Super Bowl history. I'll put the helmet catch up above him and maybe the Manningham catch. But I mean, you look at the two catches he made down the middle of the field and the one on the sideline, I mean, on freaking believable catches. Well, his rookie season in 1974, he goes to the Super Bowl. He's out there, right? Right? And somebody asked him one time, he said, you know, so how many catches did you have in that Super Bowl then? In the first Super Bowl, when you guys won, you said, oh, I had as many catches as the ball came my way. None. Didn't throw the ball to him at all. Right? So sometimes, you know, you can be really, you know, it's a situation. Did the ball get thrown to you, or you're on a team that runs the ball a lot? The Steelers ran the ball a lot back then, you know, so you can be pretty good and, you know, still not get the ball come to you, right? Tight end is a hard position to draft. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. But here, with George Kittle, he went to Iowa. His last season at Iowa, 22 catches. His junior season at Iowa, 20 catches. 2014, 1 catch. 2013, 5 catches. His college career, George Kittle. Okay. The Skittle Man, 48 catches. 48 catches, his college career. Let's see here. Travis Kelce. Let's go to him. His last season at Cincinnati, Travis Kelce, 45 catches. His in 2011, his second to last season, 13 catches. His career, his college career, Travis Kelce, 59 receptions in college. 59, right? Theo Johnson, once again, I mean, you look at his number, you're like, what? This guy, what? Theo had 77 catches, right? Now, the one thing is with Travis Kelce, right? His final season, he had 45 catches, 722 yards, but he had 8 touchdowns. But if you take 45 receptions and 8 touchdowns, that's like 1 touchdown every 5.5 receptions. So every 11 receptions he had 2 touchdowns, right? 1 every 5.5 receptions. Theo Johnson, 34 last year, 34 catches, 7 touchdowns. So basically every 5 receptions, he caught a touchdown. Once again, I'm not saying Theo Johnson's going to be the second coming of Jesus Christ or anything. I'm not saying that. All right. But, I mean, I hope he is. I hope he is. But you can't necessarily look at, not always. I mean, you look at Brock Bowers, right? I mean, he had some production. But you can also look at some guys who are really doing, a phenomenal job in the NFL right now as tight ends, and sometimes their production just wasn't quite, in college what it is. It is what it is. Now, Theo Johnson, his RAS score, 9.93 for a 6'6" freaking dude. 9 point. Somebody's was it on Big Blue Kickoff Live? I think it was. They said his RAS score was the 9th highest for a tight end since '87, and that was 1,199 tight ends since '87 have had RAS scores. 1,199. It's almost 1,200 tight ends since '87. So we're looking at over 35 years. He has the 9th highest RAS score. Pretty darn impressive, right? But I said the 77 catches may not necessarily be an indication, of how good he can be. Now, I do have to apologize because when they drafted him, it's kind of like, all right. Once again, I'm not saying he's going to be a Travis Kelce or nothing, but I didn't seem to give him quite enough credit as maybe I should have. Because sometimes when you don't watch a lot of tape and stuff like that, So when they drafted him, and I was saying, him and Bellinger would be a nice compliment, but I kept saying, they still maybe need they could probably use a receiving tight end, when a guy gets some more catches. But the thing is like last season, right, their number one target was planning on being Darren Waller. Maybe we didn't have it. We didn't have a number one receiving threat per se as a wide receiver, but that doesn't mean your tight end can't be, right? As we found out with the Chiefs. Well, now you maybe flip-flop that, right? Because now that we got Neighbors, right? Now he's our number one target. So now your anything you get from your tight ends be a bonus. But I mean, if you look at some of the tape and all of that, now they show tape and all of that and everything. Of course, if you're looking at Theo Johnson, they're going to just show you nothing but pretty much like the highlights and all that and everything. But he doesn't do too bad of a job. One thing, there's a guy from Patty Trainer. She does Locked On Giants. Well, she was talking with a guy who does like Locked On. It's like the Locked On Network that does all the pro teams. There's the Locked On Network that does all the colleges and all that. Well, she was talking to the guy from Penn State. The guy does the Locked On Nittany Lions, I guess it is. And he was saying something like maybe his blocking, and it's kind of hard to believe, but his blocking. Well, I mean, Waller's 6'6" too, but this guy's almost 260 pounds, and you give the guy, could you imagine? He's like almost give him like a year or two, and if he puts on like 10 pounds, I mean, guy's like 270 pound. Holy cow! But the guy anyway on this Locked On Penn State, he was talking about. He said maybe his blocking isn't quite, maybe you don't draft him to be your main blocker, shall we say? I guess he's adequate and all, but it's just kind of hard to believe. Got that big and that all that and everything is just, that's not quite his forte. But he was saying, he's got some nice hands, catches the ball, away from his hand and from his body a lot. Doesn't let the ball get into him. He's big enough, right? He's big enough and fast enough, right? So he's big enough. So if they put him out wide or whatever, so if you put like a cornerback on him, the guy's 6'6". Even if you got a cornerback who's like 6'2", which would be pretty tall, 6'3", still got a few inches on him, right? But then again, he's fast enough. So if you put a big bodied linebacker on him, I think he ran like a 4.6 40. there's a good chance he can run away from the guy. So if he goes down the seam, he might be able to run away from the guy. So, so now the fact that, maybe we're not looking for an unbelievable receiving tight end, even if Waller were to leave, right? Quite possibly, we might have found something with this Theo Johnson, because Shane said, I'm going to read a little article here, that going into day 3 or round 4, he said when Shane, walked in the building, turned the lights on, everything. What he said Theo Johnson was his top guy on the board. So basically, they just waited until it was their turn. Nobody took him, so they did. But we got Theo. Let's see here. I said 9.93. Wow. And this is from Sporting News. Kevin Hickey. Why the Giants drafted Theo Johnson. Giants entered the final day of the 2024 NFL Draft looking to build more depth, and they started the 4th round with the selection of Theo Johnson, one of the most athletic players in the entire draft class. Now, once again, I said the guy is 6'6". Johnson's intriguing prospect for the Giants to build as a long-term option at the tight end position. And I said the other thing I really, really love, obviously, what Shane they've been doing, right, is that you look at the 3, right? Now, we don't quite know what Eric Gray, because he didn't get a whole heck of a lot of chances last year, but they drafted Gray, right? They got Tracy, right? So they drafted 2 running backs. They got Bellinger and they got Johnson. They drafted 2 tight ends, right? They drafted Hyatt. They drafted Robinson. They got Neighbors, right? So, they're starting to, not only so much fill out the roster, right? I'm just saying on the offensive side, but they're starting to get some depth as well too. Got 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. We got the 3 wide receivers. They brought in some other drafted free agents, and also, so once again, it's there ain't no magic wand wave it all one year and the Giants are Super Bowl contenders. It's going to take some time. Let's see. While General Manager Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll are keeping the long-term view in mind, there's also a pressing matter that contributed them to drafting Johnson in the first place. Schoen told the media following the draft that the Giants kept Darren Waller's uncertain future in mind when selecting Johnson. We had to take that into account for sure, Schoen said, of Waller's potential retirement. But Theo was the top player on our board going in the day 3. I'm trying to think if there were any of these guys that we took that weren't the top player on the board at the time. Last night we left, he was sticking out for us. You always think when you come in the next morning, he's going to go sooner and may not be there, and we're excited to get Theo. Johnson certainly brings a lot of upside to a tight end position that hasn't been all that productive in recent seasons. The trade for Waller was a low-cost move. Well, low cost. It cost us a 3rd-round pick. And if he retires, we spent a 3rd-round pick for 12 games. That's a very expensive move. Very expensive. But it could be very, very expensive, but it could be one of the greatest lessons that Shane has learned. And you start looking at these guys, maybe not only maybe the free agents he's brought in, but the guys he's drafting. Smart, tough, and dependable, right? He's not drafting guys or bringing, from I remember the free agents and all, like he's, but at least with these draft picks, he's not drafting guys, okay, that, well, this guy's pretty good, but he had an ACL his freshman season, then he broke his foot this season, right? He's bringing in guys who have been playing some games, right? Dependable. So that 3rd-round pick that we might have spent for just 12 freaking games for Waller could be one of the greatest greatest lessons that Shane might be learning, right? A 3rd-round pick, how valuable that can be. And you gave it up for just a guy playing 12 games for you. 1 touchdown. Whew, man. Let's see. Johnson certainly brings a lot of upside. Let's say the trade for Waller was a low-cost move at the time. At the time, what you thought maybe you were getting for Waller. If he was going to play 3 seasons for you and he was going to be healthy and that hamstrings were just fantastic, nothing wrong with him, 3rd-round pick would have been absolutely fantastic. But turned out to be quite a costly trade for the Giants. But it certainly hasn't panned out the way the Giants wish it would have. At 6'6", 259 pounds for Johnson. Wow. Big freaking guy. Wow. Johnson ran a 4.57 in the 40 and posted incredible numbers, including a 39.5-inch vertical. Wow. Almost a 40-inch vertical. And 10.5 on the broad jump. Very nice. Very nice. Though Johnson's immediate role with the Giants is unclear, there's a chance that the former Nittany Lion is the one to supplant Waller at the tight end for Big Blue. Absolutely. I mean, I'm very anxious to see. Very, very anxious to see. We have it. We were a team known for great tight ends. Yeah, we've had, yeah. I mean, you go back, you go back with Bavaro, but, there was a period of time there where we had Zeke Mowat, we had Howard Cross, and, and Mark Bavaro, right? But, we had Shockey, and then Shockey obviously broke his leg in the second to last game of the seventh season, or the third to last game against Washington, the Redskins. I hope I don't offend anybody when I say Redskins, but he broke his leg against the Redskins in 2007. Then we had Boss, right? Then we had Jake Ballard, right, who did a good job, but unfortunately he hurt himself in the Super Bowl 46 and never played for the Giants ever again. But no, we did. Yeah, we had some really good tight ends. Oh yeah, I grew up with my first season watching was 1970. That was Bob Tucker's first. And I think it was 1971. Bob Tucker became the first tight end ever to lead a league. I think it was the NFC in receptions. We've had some very good tight ends over there. Yeah, absolutely. And nowadays it's really it's almost becoming very imperative. Have a nice tight end. If you got some good wide receivers, but if you can add a good tight end in there too as well. The problem is now it's also, a lot of it's about the money. It's really, really tough. You look like what happened with the Chiefs. It was tough to pay Hill, Patrick Mahomes, and Kelsey at the same time. It's just unfortunately it's just the way it is. If you got a quarterback making $50 million, your wide receiver wants to make 30, it's kind of tough to also pay your tight end 20. Pay $100 million between three. It makes it kind of tough. Sometimes it's like, well, who do we want? Do we want the wide receiver? Or we want the tight end? It is what it is. But I think the Giants are doing good. As I said, once again, hopefully we should be better. Hopefully we should be better than we were last year. I said, but we're still building. I'm very anxious to see. I can wait. But let's see after next year's free agency and next year's draft. Let's see where we're at. I think we should be pretty close to having obviously a more complete team. But all right, guys, been 1 hour and 15. I don't know, 1 hour and 18 minutes. Holy cow, Vinny G, man, good talking to you, brother. Thanks for staying up with me, man. Great talking to you. Great talking to you. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.